Hi everybody, this is Bill from TutorBros. Today in this video I want to go over how to use the SUMIF function in Microsoft Excel. So first I'll explain this data set and then I'll pose a question in which the SUMIF function can help us answer that question. And then I'll go over two helpful tips to remember when using the SUMIF function. So first the data set. Let's pretend we were a fruit stand. And at the end of each month, we recorded how many of each fruit we sold. So at the end of February, I sold 448 strawberries. At the end of May, I sold 312 watermelons. So, and so on. And then the data set, the timeline range is January through June. We're selling a variety of fruit at different quantities. So that's the data set. So let's say I had a question, how many of a particular fruit did I sell over the entire timeline of this data set? So for this example, let's just pick bananas. We could pick any fruit, but how many bananas did I sell for the entire data set? Just glancing at this list, it's difficult to sum and to find every fruit that matches the word bananas and then sum the quantity sold. But we could use the SUMIF function to help us answer that question. So let's go over how to use the SUMIF function in Excel. So first, as with all functions in Excel, we start off with an equal sign, and then we type out the word of the function, so SUMIF, and then we open parentheses to start the function, start putting the inputs, or what they're called arguments, into the function. And for the SUMIF function, there's 3 arguments. And Excel kind of lists out clue words as to what you should put here. So there's range, criteria, and sum range. So we'll go over what each argument means. So the range is the column in which the word could be found that we want to match. So we want to match the word bananas. And that's in this fruit column, column B. So I could type out the column, which would be B:B, or I could click on this letter B here, and it highlights the whole B column. So that's the range that we want to match the word bananas in. And then so that's the first argument. And to separate out arguments, we separate them with a comma. So I'll type comma. The second argument is criteria. So the criteria is the actual word we want to match in the range column. So for excuse me, for this particular example, we want to match the word bananas. So I'm actually going to type out the word bananas. And when you're typing a text string in a function, you want to put it within quotation marks. So I'll do quote bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S, end quote. And that's the second argument. So that's the word we want to match. That's the criteria that we want to match in the range, column B. So that's the second argument. And we can space it with the third argument, so comma sum range. And the sum range is the quantity sold that we want to sum if anything in column B matches the word bananas. So the sum range would be column C, so I could type C:C, or I could click on C right here. It'll highlight the whole C column, and it automatically populates C:C, so that's the sum range that we want to sum if anything in column B matches that word bananas. So to finish off this function, we close the parentheses and we hit enter. So we get 1762. So what this function again is doing is anything that matches the word bananas in column B, it takes in that corresponding row in column C, and in this case for row 2, it'll take 243 and it'll sum it with the next row that has word bananas and the quantity sold next to that, which is 447, and it keeps going all the way down the list. It finds all the words that matches bananas, sums all the corresponding quantities sold, and we get 1,762. Now the two helpful tips I want to go over is that instead of typing this word bananas with a capital B, which matches all the bananas in column B, the SUMIF function is case insensitive, meaning that I could type a lowercase b and it would still sum all the words that match bananas. So I could change the case of any of these letters in the word bananas and it wouldn't matter, it would still sum everything that matches the word bananas in column B. So it's case insensitive. Another tip is that instead of typing out the word bananas, if a cell already had the word bananas, I could reference that cell for that particular argument instead of typing out the word in the function. So if I deleted out the word bananas in the function and I deleted the quotes, I could click on cell E6. Now the criteria argument is referencing cell E6 with the word bananas in it, and I don't have to put the cell I'm referencing in quotes because it's not a text string, so it's not necessary. It's only necessary when you're actually typing out the word you want it to match. But in this case, since we're referencing a cell, we don't have to. I can hit enter, and it's the same, 1762. So I could change this to grapes, and now since it's referencing cell E6, it changed. Now it's 1897. All grapes in this list are added, and that's how you use the SUMIF function. So if you have any other questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment below. And if you want to see similar upcoming videos, please subscribe.